The wind howled across the canyon like a wounded beast as thunder rolled over the dark plains. The storm came without warning, swallowing the stars and turning the desert into a sea of black rain and flying dust. Sam Whitlock, a hardened rancher with eyes that had seen too much war and loss, pushed his horse through the storm. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was chasing a runaway mare that broke loose from his herd. But trouble had a way of finding him. Through the sheets of rain, his lantern caught movement near the rocks by the riverbank. A figure stumbled, fell, and lay still. Sam dismounted, boots sinking in the mud. When he knelt down, he found a young Apache woman, shivering, soaked to the bone, and clutching her arm. Her face was streaked with dirt and fear, her clothes torn by the thorns of the desert brush. She looked up at him, startled like a wild creature. "Don't stop," she whispered, barely conscious. Sam froze, thinking she meant for him to help her keep moving. Without another thought, he lifted her into his arms and carried her toward his small ranch house a mile downriver. He didn't realize those words, "Don't stop," weren't about walking at all. They were the last thing she'd said to her brother before he was taken by bounty riders. Her whisper wasn't a plea to Sam. It was a fragment of heartbreak she couldn't let go of. But Sam didn't know that yet. By the time they reached the cabin, lightning flashed bright enough to split the sky in two. Sam laid her by the fire, wrapped her in a blanket, and tended to her wounds. She flinched when he touched her arm, and he backed away, apologizing softly. "You're safe now," he said. "Ain't nobody gonna hurt you here." The woman didn't answer. Her dark eyes followed him with suspicion and confusion, like she didn't know if she could believe him. The night stretched long. The storm raged, but inside the cabin, it was quiet except for the crackle of the fire. Sam sat across from her, staring into the flames, haunted by ghosts of his own. He'd lost his wife to fever 3 winters ago. Since then, he'd lived like a shadow, working the land by day and drowning his memories by night. The girl's presence stirred something in him he hadn't felt in years. The need to protect, to care, to believe that kindness still meant something. When morning came, the world outside was washed clean. The woman woke, her face pale but her eyes steady. She spoke his name, Sam, as if testing the sound of it. He blinked in surprise. "How'd you know my name?" he asked. She pointed to the branding iron by the hearth, his initials carved into the handle. "I can read," she said softly. "My father taught me before." Her voice trailed off. In the days that followed, the misunderstanding between them began to unravel. Sam learned her name was Kaya. She'd escaped from a wagon headed east, where she and others had been captured to be sold as servants. Tightened when he heard it. "Nobody deserves that," he said. "Not on my land." He promised to help her find her brother, though deep down, he feared the boy might already be gone. They rode together across the plains, following faint tracks and whispers of rumor from passing travelers. At night by the fire, Kaya told him stories of her people, the spirits of the mountains, the way the wind carried the songs of the lost. Sam listened, humbled, realizing how much he'd never known about the land he'd lived on his whole life. Slowly, the mistrust between them faded, replaced by something unspoken but strong. Then came the day they found the ruins of a burned-out camp. The ashes were cold and the earth smelled of smoke and sorrow. Among the remnants, Kaya found her brother's necklace, an eagle carved from bone. She fell to her knees, trembling. Sam knelt beside her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. For a long time, neither spoke. Finally, Kaya whispered again, her voice breaking, "Don't stop." This time, Sam understood. She wasn't asking him to move, she was asking him not to give up. Not to let hate and pain be the only story left behind. He nodded, his own eyes wet. "We won't," he said. "Not today." From that moment, everything changed. Sam helped her bury what was lost and start anew. She stayed at the ranch, tending to the horses and planting a small garden by the stream. The land began to heal, and so did they. People in town whispered, some with kindness, some with scorn. But Sam didn't care. The storm that had once separated them had also brought them together. Months later, when the wildflowers bloomed again, Kaya stood on the porch watching the sunset. Sam joined her, the air warm and still. She turned to him and smiled. "The wind sings again," she said. He smiled back. "And it's a good song." That night didn't end with thunder or tears, just peace. A peace neither of them thought they'd find. And for those listening, watching, or reading this tale, remember this. Sometimes, the words we misunderstand lead us to the truths we need most. If you felt the heartbeat of this story, the courage, the forgiveness, the quiet love that grows from pain, then don't stop either. Subscribe to the channel, stay with us, and let's keep these stories alive, one heartbeat at a time.